Hey, y'all. It's Nate Dizzle Dowser coming at you with a new video. Haven't made a video for a while, kind of just been busy doing other stuff, but I decided to come back and make a video about a topic that I'm very much interested in. Uh, I'm a huge metalhead. I'm a music head technically, but I love heavy metal. I love death metal, grindcore, hardcore, stuff like that. And Anthony Fantano, the Needle Drop, made a really awesome video called The Five Pillars of Death Metal. Five albums that he recommends for people who are interested in the genre and want to further explore it. And Mike Seatown of Dead End Hip Hop, he also made a video on the same subject talking about his recommendations. And oh, great, both great videos. I'll make sure to put them down in the description so you guys can check them out. They're really awesome. But I decided to do something a little different. I wanted to do five pillars of black metal. Now, I'm a huge black metal fan. It's a genre that has a lot to offer. There's a lot of bands that are black metal that sound very different from each other, but definitely have their same style. And just it's a really awesome genre of music. It's not for everybody, but I thought I should recommend some albums for people who are interested in this type of thing. So, here are my five pillars of black metal. All right, let's get started, shall we? Right off the bat, we have SATYRICON's Nemesis Divina. Uh, yeah, this is a black metal album that I got onto pretty early on. I got into this album like 2 years ago. I was looking up suggestions for other black metal albums, and this one came up. This one was like on a ton of lists. Like if you look up greatest black metal albums of all time, this is bound to show up there somewhere. So I checked it out, and I was just like, damn, this album rips. It is fantastic. It's not super brutal, but it's definitely heavy. You got fantastic. I love the vocal performance on here. These guys are from Norway, like several of the bands on here. The heart of black metal is in Norway. And I don't know a lot about these bands, like personally, their whole life story and stuff like that. All I can tell you is that this album in particular, it's got some fantastic tremolo picking, fantastic melodies, great musical experimentation with some piano stuff and some other instruments in there. It kind of gives it almost a folky vibe to it. I absolutely adore this album, and I cherish it. If I also made a list of like, I'd probably have to do like 50 top 50 black metal albums. This would probably definitely be high on my list. Fantastic album. Check it out. Next on the list, we have Dark Funeral, The Secret of the Black Arts. Pretty damn satanic, as pretty much every band on here is, but still. This is a Swedish black metal band. Now, if you're metalhead, Sweden is pretty important scene for metal. You have fantastic death metal bands there, like Entombed and Dismember, but you also have a great melodic death metal scene, which is known as the Gothenburg style. And three bands pop up in particular. You got Dark Tranquillity, At the Gates, and In Flames. So, pretty important scene for metal. Now, this band in particular helped me get into black metal. At the time, I was very into melodic death metal, and so I saw the album cover, and as you can see, it's a pretty badass looking album cover, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, I gotta listen to this. Wow. The production on this is not lo-fi. It's very hard-hitting. It's just super brutal all the way through. I absolutely love it. I love the vocals on this too. The vocals aren't super high pitched. In a lot of black metal, you got really high pitched vocals, really. But that was my impersonation. Pretty good, right? But the vocals on here are really great. If you have an ear for death metal, it'll probably be fairly easy for you to get on board with this album. It's super awesome. So there you go, Dark Funeral. All right, we got another Swedish black metal band coming right at you, known as Dawn. The album is Slaughtersun, Crown of the Triarchy. Now, this is another Swedish melodic black metal band. Now, I could have talked about Dissection, Storm of the Light's Bane. Amazing album, one of my all-time favorite albums, but I decided to talk about this one because it's extremely underrated. Chances are, if you're into extreme metal, you probably know Dissection. I would hope you would know, or else you are messing up. If you don't know it, get back to this video, go listen to that album. It's fantastic. And then come back so you can listen to this one, because this album is extremely underrated. This band only had 2 full lengths, and this is Dawn's second album, and they never made another one after that, which is a shame because it's phenomenal. This is one of the best melodic black metal albums that I've heard, and I would think it should have been talked about more, but it never really was. It kind of was like under the radar. But, you know, that's what makes this album even more special, is the fact that it's underrated. So, and it's easy to listen to because of the melodies. Very melodic. I mean, yes, you got the harsh black metal screaming behind it, but the melodies and the songs are epic. They range from 9, 10, 11-minute tracks on this sucker. Super great stuff. Like, I can't tell you guys enough how underrated this album is. You really need to check it out. It's one of my all-time favorites. So that's Dawn. All right, we're busting through this. We got 2 more albums to recommend. One of which is Immortal, At the Heart of Winter. This would also be on a list of essential black metal albums that you would need to listen to. If you consider yourself a true black metal fan, chances are you already own this album because it is amazing. This band has a pretty consistent discography. They got a lot of other great albums, but this is probably my favorite of theirs. It's just so epic, you know. You feel the epicness just coursing through your veins when you're listening to this album, and it also has some thrash metal fusion in there as well. And for a 3-piece, that's right, a 3-piece, this band is very, very full. A lot of black metal albums don't really put in a lot of bass in the sound. It's very trebly sounding. This band adds a lot of bass to their album, so it makes them sound even heavier. It makes them sound even more full. And it's just an amazing album. I mean, this is an album that you would have to listen to if you're getting into black metal. So I feel like I would have been a damn fool if I didn't recommend this album. So that's Immortal. Amazing, amazing stuff. Really awesome. Right. So for this last band I'm recommending, this band is my absolute favorite black metal band ever. In fact, I used a song off this album for the intro of this video, and the band is Emperor, and the album is In the Nightside Eclipse. This album is one of my favorite black metal albums ever. Now, it's not my favorite Emperor album. Personally, I prefer Anthems to the Wilkin at Dusk, but this album got me into Emperor, and with an album cover that looks amazing as it does, I knew the second I saw it, I'm like, okay, I have to listen to this album. Now, Dark Funeral may have helped me get on board with the black metal train. This one made me obsessed with black metal. This album is truly one of those really important metal albums, not just in terms of black metal, but it's important to the history of metal. This is a classic black metal album. A lot of people consider this to be the greatest black metal album of all time, and it's really hard to argue against it, with the great synthesizers in there and the fantastic guitar work, and the drumming, of course, is just off the wall incredible, and just the overall atmosphere and the feeling you get when you listen to this album, or this band even, Emperor, is just, it's a great feeling, and it's one of these albums that I end up listening to a lot. I listen to this band all the time. I've been listening to this band constantly recently. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. This is my top 5 pillars of black metal. These are all recommendations. So, if you're getting into black metal, you definitely got to check some of these albums out. And also other albums that you should check out, albums I didn't recommend, bands like Mayhem. You want to check out some Mayhem. The reason I didn't recommend Mayhem is because the vocals are pretty out there, even for black metal. The guitar work is great, but that album took me, Mayhem took me a while to get into because the vocals are pretty nuts. But yeah, gotta start off with these albums and then find some more great black metal albums. I end up listening to a ton of other stuff. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Keep supporting metal, yo.